Yes. Penis sword. Let us fight penis with penis. Pull out your penis, and we will clash with penis until one of us is triumphant. Who has the bigger penis? Yes. That was some weird shit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with YongYea now as our guest of honor here on the Codec. We are doing an interview now with YongYea. So, Yong, welcome to your first interview.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and to do my first interview here at Nation Fusion, where we've been interviewing other people, other very famous people, people we loved. So, you know, it's good to do it here.
Yeah, it feels right. Like I said earlier. So, I mean, let's get started. Let's get right into it. I'm solo interviewing today, which I'm oh so good at. I've been doing this for a long time, so don't worry. Start off by telling the fans that are here that might not know who you actually are. Who is YongYea?
How far back? You're talking about YouTube or just who I am as a
person?
Yeah,
just who are you? When? Right. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you born?
Sure.
Where you grew up? That kind of stuff. So.
All right. Well, my name is my full name is YongYea, and I just took the last two parts of that YongYea and made a channel out of it. But I was born in Venezuela. I was born in Puerto Ordaz, Venezuela. My parents moved from Korea because my dad got a martial arts job offer in Venezuela. Don't know how that works, but okay, I guess I'll buy that story. And they moved to Venezuela, and I was born there alongside my older brother and my younger sister. And I stayed in Puerto Ordaz for maybe till I was 10, and then I moved to Caracas, which is the capital of Venezuela. And then I stayed there until I was 14. And so in 2006, I moved to the United States. So I've been here for 9 years now, 8-9 years. And we moved because, Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, politically it was going to hell, and just we had to get out of there to have a future. So we came here to America, and we started a new life, I guess. It's one of those stories.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I had no idea.
Yeah. It's and also for those wondering how I know English, I was tutored when I was like in first grade. I would be tutored at my house privately. My dad wanted me to learn English. I think he kind of foresaw that I'd eventually be moving to the United States. So I learned English, and from third grade onwards up until 8th grade, I was sent to a foreign school in Venezuela, because the Americans are the foreigners in Venezuela.
Right.
And so it was an American school, American foreign school, and I was there, and I was forced to speak English for all those years, and I eventually mastered it. And then I moved to United States. I went to high school, did 2 years in college, and during college is when I found my passion for YouTubing. And it's a funny story how that started. I do theater. For those who don't know, I do musicals and plays and whatever, and at one point I had auditioned for this musical called The Mystery of Edwin Drood, and it involved a British accent. So I told myself, hey, how can I test out my British accent in a way that, if I do it with my friends, they'll say, oh, it's fine. But I wanted to get actual feedback from people, see if this is actually a decent British accent. So I said, maybe I'll release a video on YouTube in a British accent and see how people react, see if they know that it's fake. And I'm like, well, what do I want to talk about? I'll talk about games, whatever. I like playing games. And so I made my first video in this really terrible, fake, insulting British accent. Talked about some game, I forget what it was. I think it was Fear 2 or Fear 3.
Do you still have these videos on your channel? Are they still there?
They're not on my channel. They're on another channel. And I'd rather not disclose that because it's so embarrassing. But yeah, I don't know. People
will find it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. That's how the internet works. But I'm sure it's still there. I haven't touched them since. But it's this really terrible fake British accent, and but then I realized, hey, I kind of enjoy doing this. This was kind of cool to do this. And after I kept doing this in a British accent for some reason, because people thought I was British, eventually I'm like, all right, this has got to stop. I'm just gonna out myself as an Asian and just start a new channel and do it properly. And so that's what I did. And I got partnered by TGN at one point, the network, and I mostly made videos for them up until, that was the Skyrim era. I was, at that time, known most for doing Skyrim content, and I uploaded most of my videos to their channel, and I thought that was a mistake, honestly. I wish I would have built up my own channel, but, I was focused on maybe making a little money on the side. But eventually I'm like, all right, I'm going to set myself free from that. I broke away from TGN and started YongYea.
Hey, I'm doing a show. It's okay.
Hi there, whoever. So
continue.
Yeah, so that's when I started YongYea, and then at one point, Ground Zeroes was announced. And before then, I didn't have a lot of direction in terms of what kind of content I wanted to do. I would do, the occasional Let's Play, the occasional news update. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But then Ground Zeroes was announced, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm a huge fan of Metal Gear. This could be my thing. And I went for it. It
has been your thing now.
Yeah, and it has been my thing since I started doing analysis, and Metal Gear is just the only game that hypes me up when any kind of news comes out. Like Fallout 4, stuff like that, it's fantastic to look at, to see all the possibilities that it offers, but with Metal Gear, it's just, you never know. You never know. With Fallout, it's like, okay, so that's what we're going to get. With Metal Gear, it's like, here's the trailer, but, what you see may not necessarily be what you get. Yeah. And it's exhilarating to theorize about stuff like that and to cover a game like Metal Gear, which is such an epic and long-running saga. So that's how I got started with Metal Gear, with Ground Zeroes, and eventually I moved on to Phantom Pain, and here I am. So that's sort of my whole, I guess, story.
Quite a story, man. It definitely sounds like a unique story. I don't think I've heard anything like that in quite some time. So I've actually got a couple questions about it. So tell me how was it when you first came to America, like you said, and you started going to high school? Did you know like the language good enough before you came here too?
Yeah.
Or was that something you learned while you were here?
Well, I did know the proper language very well, but the slangs, I had no freaking idea. I mean, one of the first things that I heard being said to me when I came here was, "What's up, dog?" And I'm like, was that necessary, dude? Like, why are you calling me a dog? Like, what is that? And then I was taught, that dog means, like, buddy, dude, whatever. I was in high school, and one dude asked me, "Yo, can you spit?" And that, spit means rapping, right? And I'm like, yeah, I can spit. I mean, that's like a basic skill, I suppose. And they're like, all right, go for it. And literally just spit at the floor. And they're like, what the hell are you doing? They looked at me all weird. And, soccer and football, that's a big difference, right? And everywhere else except America, football is, football, the foot that you use to kick the ball. Here in America, apparently this is football. So I had to get used to that. Call it, soccer or whatever.
Okay. Well, I think that's unique, man. That's kind of what I was getting at. As I know, a lot of the people that I talk to that start out in one country and come, here, even the ones that know English fairly well, they don't understand all of, because there's so many different types. I mean, you should hear how people in Louisiana talk. It's I don't even understand it. Okay. You know what I mean? So there's so many different kinds of dialects to, I guess, to English, and so different sub languages. I was curious about how being older. Normally, with if somebody comes here at a young age, it's fairly easy for them to pick up. But being older, I'm sure it was
jarring, a little jarring.
Yeah. I'm sure it was. So my next question for you is: at what point you talked about being partnered with TTG, right?
TGN. Mm-hmm.
TGN. Okay, so tell me about at what point in your YouTubing career did you kind of hit that big growth spurt? I've seen little channels who get lots of views, and I've seen big channels that get the same amount of views as some of these little channels, but the subscriber rate is different and stuff like that. So tell me, at what point, what was it? Was it a certain video? Was it a certain collection of videos that really kind of propelled you up into the? I believe you're about to hit 130 here soon.
So I've hit 130 at this point.
Did you? Awesome.
So Skyrim was the big thing that propelled me to, you know, I don't want to say fame, but, you know, people started to recognize this guy, this Asian dude, whoever he was. And yeah, so Skyrim, I was sort of the only guy who was doing Skyrim content. And so a lot of people watched my videos.
Really?
Unfortunately, I uploaded them to TGN's channel instead of my own because, you know, they gave me a little more money on the side. So if there's one tip I can give to any future YouTubers is don't worry about the money starting out because it's going to kill you. If I would have uploaded that to my channel, you know, I'd probably be maybe a little further than I am now. But, you know, that was that. You know, I dealt with it and people at least sort of knew me by name by then, you know, this Yong guy. And so I started my own channel at one point, and Metal Gear, that's when my personal channel began to grow. That's, you know, I released my first video of Metal Gear, and it didn't get many views at first, but then as I kept doing more and more analysis, people began to notice, hey, this guy maybe knows a little bit about Metal Gear. And back then I was terrible at sourcing information. I loved to just share the information. I wasn't trying to, like, steal information, so I still get a lot of flack for that, actually. So I would talk about stuff, but then people would be like, hey, this is from NeoGaf, or this is from this other dude. Why? You know, but people will still watch it because it's information that's out there in video format that not a lot of people were doing. Yeah, exactly. I sort of collected information instead of, so people didn't have to go to all these different websites.
So a YouTube version of Cypher.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Patriots and whatnot.
Right.
But I would often just kind of ignore, you know, sourcing my stuff because I was a newbie journalist. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of sharing information. So I got a lot of flack for that, but eventually I learned and I started sourcing my
You do
stuff.
a great job now. Like every single piece of information that comes out of your mouth, if it's not your specific piece of information, you're like NeoGaf user this or YouTube user that, or, you know, Twitter user
I try
this.
to do the best I can in that aspect now because I know it's you know, people want to be credited for their work, and of course that's obvious. But yeah, eventually, you know, and then I think at one point the biggest video that I think that really propelled me was the Metal Gear Solid 5 E3 2013 analysis. That video got a lot of views. I remember talking about the connection between Eli and David, David and Eliab from the Bible, and people are like, "Hey,
I think it was one of the first videos I saw from you, actually."
Oh, wow, cool. Yeah, that was I think the thing that really got me into the MGS community that people started paying attention to, and and that thing about Eli and David, it's someone kind of hinted at it in the comments, and I researched it, and then I saw, wow, that. You know, and then I made all these connections and whatever, but and I'm sure some other people made the connections too, but you know, sometimes two people have the same idea.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's, I'd say, the thing that really got me up there, the E3 2013 trailer analysis, the Red Band trailer analysis.
Yes, that actually is the first one that I saw, and when I saw that, I was like, I didn't know this kind of content existed. Like I knew. You know, I knew there was Metal Gear theories out there because I've been part of Facebook groups and stuff like that. But when I saw your video, I was like, okay, so there's people out there that will go there and say the stuff that I'm thinking in my head. So I immediately went back and watched, you know, all of the videos that I could to kind of catch up to date, you know, to the stuff that you had done. You had talked about some of the ground zeros and stuff. Before that, and then you know, I'd been following the channel ever since. So I think I definitely have to, you know, kind of congratulate you on, you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to say like a new genre because I know other people have done it, but you've kind of mainstreamed that analysis theory type, you know, channel. There's some other channels out there who, like, there's a channel called Game Theory that doesn't necessarily do the same theory type of stuff that you do. They talk more about, you know, more scientific stuff, and they use, you know, this kind of stuff. They don't necessarily cater to the fan fictions and stuff like that. And you guys, well, you in particular, have done that. So I mean, good job.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that it came off that way. And I mean, I don't know if I, you know, started a genre, or I mean, if you think so, then great.
Like, yeah, I said, I don't know if you've started out. I mean, I would be honored if you had started to be talking with you, but I definitely think you've mainstreamed it if you didn't start it yourself.
If that's really the case, then that's fantastic, and I think more people should do it because it's awesome to discuss like this. And I think part of the reason why I love Metal Gear so much is that it's one of the few franchises where you can really do something like this in depth. So I keep doing it.
Yeah, I definitely want you to keep doing it because there's a lot of stuff coming up that we can talk about. But I guess that's one of the questions that I got a lot throughout the YouTube comments is what is going to happen with your channel and you after Metal Gear is out? What's the next kind of big thing? Obviously, I don't like to like ever think about that. I don't like to think about a YongYea channel that doesn't have Metal Gear theories on it. But at some point, we will have discussed and deciphered as much of the information as we possibly can. Even after the game's out, I'm sure you'll have a couple more videos coming out as you progress, through the campaign and stuff like that. I'm sure we'll hear some of those, theories confirmed or theories debunked type things.
Sure.
But after that, what's the next thing for you? Do you know where you go from here?
Well, after the game's out, obviously, like you said, I'm gonna do some of that theory stuff, but also I want to do a Metal Gear lore video where I literally take the whole frickin' thing and in one video I just tell you that story.
Wow,
Metal Gear lore.
It's gonna be quite a long one.
Yeah, I originally was planning to do it in parts, but I want people to get one whole unified experience. I don't like when videos split things that should be in one thing into parts. It makes more money, it brings more revenue, whatever, but in terms of the user experience, I think they want something that's in one place, and that's what I want to do. I want to make one giant lore video where...
Oh yeah, I love big, long analysis videos or big, long explanation videos. Those are my favorite.
And I also want to make some, I guess what I'm planning to call character briefings, where I literally take you through the whole story of specific characters. Because, there's a whole lore, and then there's specific characters that have their own. So that's kind of what I'm planning for now. But in terms of, apart from Metal Gear, Fallout is coming out soon, so I'm definitely going to cover that after Metal Gear. And then from there, I mean, who knows? Honestly, I had no idea what I was going to do after Skyrim, and then Metal Gear came along. And, I do game news. I know I'm best known for Metal Gear, but I'd like to think that I want to cover any game that really kind of...
Right, and I agree. I don't want to mix up the question. What I really am getting at is like right now for Metal Gear, you do theory, analysis, and news.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue doing that for other games? I know you do. I know you do news for Fallout, but if you dive deep into like the Fallout lore and stuff, there's all sorts of rooms for theories and analysis as well. Do you plan on doing those types of videos? Like, before we this is another section that I kind of want to talk about in the interview, but you did some actual like theory videos where you proposed this and then supported your evidence with gameplay or trailers. Are you going to do that kind of thing for Fallout and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. For any game that, my channel is, I can't cover every single game out there. I cover games that interest me. So it's, if you're subscribed to my channel, then your interests probably fall in line with what I like. And so, yeah, from that content, I definitely want to continue making analysis, game news, what have you. And I also want to start more often reviewing games. I haven't been able to do that as much because Metal Gear is such a big beast to cover that, I really got to pay attention and really have to stay on top of that. But eventually I want to start, hopefully, contacting people to get some games early in and start reviewing those because I don't say this in a cocky way, but I do think I can do a more detailed and in-depth review than many of the ones out there. That's just my personal goal and prerogative. Obviously, that's up to the fans to decide if that's true, but I want to really dive into games because I love talking about games in general, not just Metal Gear. And that's what I want to do in the end. This channel is about sharing, games and talking about games and just being a gamer. And so that's
awesome. So we can definitely expect more content and more stuff, Metal Gear related and not, even after Metal Gear's out. That's awesome, man.
And I mean, there's a new Metal Gear series coming out, and I will cover that. I know Kojima won't be on board for that, and that's unfortunate, but it's Metal Gear, and I gotta, I want to see what they have for us next.
Okay. All right. Next question. This one should be kind of a quick one because I've spoken to you about this before. A lot of people asked, Dragonborn, what's going on with it? Can you give us an update? Did you prepare us a teaser trailer for your interview?
No, I did not. I'm sorry.
It's
Maybe
okay.
I should have. But it's still in development, guys. I mean, you have to understand, I started Dragonborn in a time when I wasn't really terribly popular. You know, I wasn't that high up in the subscribers count, so I had
Right.
more time to dedicate to Dragonborn. Now, with all the Metal Gear stuff happening, with it being so close to release, with E3 and whatever, it's taking longer than anticipated. But it's being developed. It's getting there.
You're promising us that it's still
2015.
there. I
Yeah.
think there's some people who think that you've like left the project alone or you're not doing it because I mean we've seen some people do it before and I'm actually a culprit of this. Is I started a whole recreation of the movie Black Hawk Down in an Arma game and I had voice actors and I had a whole crew and we went really hard into it and then I started working for Frag Nation and I got really busy
Yeah.
and I dropped the project. I dropped the ball. I had to apologize to a
Yeah.
lot of people. Your Dragonborn it's a great series and you do it by yourself. And
Yeah,
I
it's one
think
man.
right. And I think that right there is if I was doing my remake of Black Hawk Down by myself, might be something I would have not let go. I don't want to see that happen to you. It was a great series. I loved it. So it's there. It's not
There.
going away.
It's not going away. I am planning to finish all 3 acts, and hopefully Act 3 I'll be able to schedule a little better. Maybe get some people on board to speed things up. I don't know. But Act 2 is still happening. Right now it's 50 minutes complete. Like in terms of just completely filmed and done, 50 minutes, and there's some other footage that I still have to edit in. And so it's come a long way. It looks great, I think, and
Awesome.
it's gonna be out this year. I don't know when yet because Metal Gear, giant beast to
Right.
cover, and you know I gotta prioritize. And you know I have this big problem where I want to do so many different things at once when I
You need a
shouldn't.
staff.
Yeah, I need it. Yeah, maybe. But you know, I do news, and then I do the Yong Place channel, which I'm been kind of slacking on because of V3.
Now
And
you're
then
the
I got the
Codec.
Dragonborn, and so I need to like really start, I guess, narrowing down on what I really want to focus on. But I just love doing all these things. You know, all of them I love equally. So it's kind of like
Whatever
choosing...
you do, don't cut us out.
No, no,
Okay?
man,
Don't cut the
absolutely.
Codec out.
Nah, yeah, Dragonborn is there, and it'll be released this year. I will make it my #1 priority to make it come out this year.
Well, there you go, guys. This year, some point this year, we will see Dragonborn Act II come out. Another question coming from the community, and I'm bringing this one up because you said anything goes.
Yeah.
People want to know what the whole deal was and what happened with you versus PythonSelkan.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about it just a little bit. Obviously, sure. I've made this statement a few times because whenever I post a video with you in it, theory related, or when we're talking to actors from the Metal Gear universe, a lot of people tend to like bash PythonSelkan, and I go back and I'm like, hey, look, I don't think it's that way. I think it was kind of like a cool professional back and forth, more or less. I don't think anybody was taking personal shots. However, I'm not you, so I can't tell the fans how you actually feel about it. And I think this might be a good idea to address it because
Sure.
like I said, I feel like it was professional. They didn't agree with you. You didn't agree with them. Cool. We got 2 different views on YouTube, but they've also said some things like a true analysis or true analyzer and things like that that kind of may rub me the wrong way as a YongYea supporter for so long. So tell us, how do you feel about it?
Well, it all started with, their video, the Gray Fox is that big boss is possibly Gray Fox. And I saw it and I'm like, what is this?
I'm sorry. Somebody in the chat said everything is Gray Fox and it just
pretty much.
Okay,
I'm Gray Fox. I don't know if you guys knew, but so
damn.
I saw the video and I was like, this is really circumstantial stuff, but a lot of people were buying it, and I'm like, well, it's cool that people are making stuff like this for a game that I love so much. But I'm like, I completely disagree with this, so I want to make it because it got really popular, the video, and rightfully so. I mean, it was really well edited.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool connections that he makes, and PythonSelkan's very good at that. He makes really cool connections. Not all of them, I don't think, are necessarily tangible, but they're cool. It's cool that he can see things that way, I think, and that really gets people thinking, and that's really cool. But I'm like, I disagree. So I made a video. I'm like, here's why I disagree, and I released a video, and I try to come off as unhateful. I didn't mean that as a hate thing. I just said, I just disagree. People were asking me, hey, Yong, make a video about this. You think this is true? And I said no. So here's a video. So bam, there you go. And I think PythonSelkan took it a little personally because
I think so.
It was their next video that they were talking about. You're
in
not
all
a true
caps,
analyst.
by the way.
All
caps, by the way. Their video was like, "This is Gray Fox is Big Boss."
Right,
blah, blah.
right. Yeah, exactly. And see, that's why I made the video, because they were kind of coming off as, confirmed kind of thing. And I'm like, I wouldn't say confirmed. I mean, it's cool that you're theorizing and whatever, but, maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. So I made the video just for that purpose. I just wanted to tell people, hey, if you believe this, here's why I think that's not true. And that was the only, I didn't mean any hate, any kind of, negative, whatever. No, it was just, me saying, hey, here's my thoughts. And I think, I don't know, maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but for me, it came off as though PythonSelkan took it personally. And they started going off on a tangent about how I'm not a true analyst. And, in response, I'd say, you could say, a conspiracy theory is different from like an analysis. It's really two different things. And whether you admit it or not, your videos are more on the conspiracy theory side of things. And that's not a bad thing. No. That's just more on what it is. That's, you're doing this thing where you're theorizing about something that's improbable, but maybe just, if you look at all these crazy connections, maybe true. And whenever you use words like coincidence, that's a conspiracy theory word right there. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But that's not, a conspiracy theory and an analysis, there are certain distinctions to be made there.
Right. And I think you do a good job of that. You actually have theory videos and analysis videos.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's different. I separate them. An analysis video, I point out information that people can maybe interpret in a certain way, and then, I'll insert my own theory in there from time to time. But, an analysis is an analysis. Conspiracy theory is a conspiracy theory. That's the way I see it, and maybe some of you will disagree with me, but there's nothing wrong with either one. But just because you don't go into conspiracy theory level of connections and analysis, that doesn't mean you're not a true analyst.
Right.
People who, an analyst in, in the real, statistics, whatever, in that field, an analysis is just making calculations, very exact. Right? And what you're going to say, that's not a true analysis because, you're not making all these crazy connections from, sometimes an analysis is an exact science. Other times it's a broad thing. But when you really dive into the crazy meta stuff, then we dive into a bit of the conspiracy theory level kind of analysis. Maybe it's a different kind of analysis, but there's not one of them that isn't an analysis. And, if you do one, that doesn't make you... not a true analyst or whatever. That's my prerogative on it. And that kind of pissed me off, that comment from PythonSelkan. So I'm like, all right, I'll make another counter video. And there I pointed out, calmly and, as gently as I could, you can call me a not true analyst, whatever, but I don't think that's true. I think you're getting ahead of yourself there by saying that. But, whatever. If that's how you feel, that's fine. And I think people caught on this sort of slight hostility there in that comment that PythonSelkan made, and then in my, I guess, retaliation. But honestly, if I am perfectly honest with you, I sort of regret making that counter video to PythonSelkan. I think, I don't know, it gave him it gave a lot of attention in areas where there didn't really need to be attention, and I could have just kept to myself, but for some reason,
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. Honestly, man, I think, and like I said, I got to make sure that I point out the distinction here, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure you understand that the fans are behind you, not just your fans, but Metal Gear fans. Not because maybe not everybody agrees with your theories, maybe not everybody agrees with PythonSelkan's theories, but for a certain amount of time, granted, it was like you said, a little hostile, maybe on their end, but for a certain amount of time, we had two theorists kind of going back and forth, and I loved that, man. I wish it could have been a more of like an upbeat kind of, oh yeah, well this is what you think, well this is what I think, kind of like friends type thing, kind of one upping each other. And I'm not sure why they chose to go that route, like you said, of it kind of being hostile, but for two or three videos, we had a Yong theory, and then we had a PythonSelkan theory saying, well, your theory was wrong. And then we had your theory saying, well, theirs was wrong. It was a really fun thing to watch. And I just wish, like I said,
I had no problem with that. But as soon as the whole true analyst crap came in, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to reinforce this kind of thing. I'm just going to stop. And that's why I stopped making them, because I'm like, there's no point if this is going to go there. But, I mean, honestly, I've watched a couple of their stuff, and I could break it down, I could do whatever, but I honestly think there's no point. I mean, they can stick to their thing, I will stick to mine. That's how I wanted to handle it, and that's how I want to handle it now. It's just, they really value their theory to a point where if anybody tries to contradict it, they really get defensive, and I respect that because, it's sort of what their thing is, right? It's their thing. That theory is sort of what they mainly are known for. So, of course, they'll value that. They will cherish that, and they will, if anybody attacks it, they'll try to defend it. But I wish they would be a little more open-minded to the way they go about defending their stuff.
I agree.
They do their thing, I'll do my thing. I have nothing against them. I really don't. I really love what they do, actually. The attention to detail, great editing, and the fact that they're getting MGS fans discussing is fantastic. It's just, I just haven't been a huge fan of the way that, they've been going about in terms of attitude and stuff like that. But I don't hate them. I have no hostility against them. I'm just doing my own thing. They can
no
do their own
bad blood, but sour taste type thing.
No, honestly. I'm sure that they're maybe cool guys if I meet them in
I
real
tried
life.
to get them to come on the show. During the eFusion week, I wanted to have them on because I wanted to ask them kind of the same question that I asked you, but maybe from their side. And they declined to come on. But we had the fans, a lot of your fans actually tuned in to eFusion week
Cool.
as well. So we had the fans tweet at them on Twitter like probably 15 or 16 times to come onto the show.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was a good time.
I had
but
nothing to do with that, Python. If you're
was it?
this.
Yeah, I'm sure they knew because they you made that announcement that you were going to E3, and I think they have some spies here that watch our show. so yeah, well, I'm glad you answered that, man. I'm glad there's no bad blood. Like I said, I would have loved at some point to have you guys maybe on the show together and could discuss your theories in a professional manner. Like I thought. That would be to me as a watcher, as a viewer, and not as like a not as a co-host to be, you see like presidential debates similar to that.
Oh boy, yeah.
So Yong for Metal Gear president.
Oh boy. No, but they really know their stuff though. I mean, they it's like they memorized all the quotes and stuff. It's crazy how much they how many connections they make. It's just. I don't believe most of them really will, are tangible, very circumstantial and whatever.
People can reach and make anything sound like anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Honestly, look at the stuff about the moon landing. It sounds true. Like, the moon landing never happened. 9/11, this and that happened.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you honestly look at what they have to say, you will almost believe it. But they're conspiracy theories for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's meta stuff. It's really out there. And nothing wrong with thinking that way. Just understand the distinction. That's my personal take on that.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's get our next question here. I want to try and wrap this up in about, you got 20 minutes? Is that okay with you?
I got all the time, honestly, today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, awesome. Well, then you just let me know when we're getting short on time because we've had quite a few questions. Next question comes from YouTube. Unfortunately, I cannot see the username because my screen is cut. So whoever submitted this question on YouTube, thank you. They want to know what happened with thenation.com and is it ever coming back?
thenation.com. So I one day said, hey, I want to make a website where I can post sort of, because there's so many news to cover that I figured, hey, maybe if I have a medium where I can quickly post news, maybe that'll alleviate things. But running a website, it's a completely different ballgame from running a YouTube channel. In YouTube, you know, YouTube takes care of the servers, all that stuff on that end.
Right.
But in a website, you have to find a server, you have to do this and that. It's this whole process, and it actually was taking a huge chunk of my time, and it was counterproductive to what I wanted to do in the end. And it's just, I guess I didn't have experience with running a website. I just didn't know what I was doing, and I thought the guys who I'm partnered with now, they said they'd make a website for me. They made the website for me, and I thought I'd get a little more help from their end, but they just made the website and said, there you
This
go.
is your YouTube partner?
Yeah, Freedom. Okay. Love them, you know, but...
Well, yeah. They've got a Hitbox channel, or a Hitbox team here.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, you know, but didn't get a lot of help on the website front, so eventually I said, this is not worth it. And it's just not as fun versus talking. You know, writing an article is cool, but when you can express yourself with your voice and the footage and kind of syncing them together in such a way that it presents the information in the best way possible, that is bliss for me, rather than just typing something and posting. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I know there's some great websites out there, you know, like Metal Gear Informer. They do a great job in compiling information, and that's fantastic. But I like expressing myself a little bit into the information that I present, and YouTube is the best way to do that. So
definitely,
I don't think the Agents is coming back anytime soon. Maybe in the future if I ever start getting staff members or whatever. But for now, I decided it's counterproductive. Let's stick to videos where I excel.
Well, I gotta say, I definitely enjoyed The Nation when it was up, and I believe if you remember when I first started talking to you, I extended an invite. If you ever feel like you want to write articles, we've got, you know, Frag Nation who would love to have you on as a writer. If you ever want to post some news, I'm sure the fans would love to see some articles from you. So if you're ever interested in that, let me know on the side, man. We'll talk about it. Because I post all the news up there right now myself, and it's terrible because I'm a terrible writer. I'm much better at speaking, you know, but you seem to be decent at both. So the next question that I've got for you comes from Arcantanius on YouTube. He wants to know if you could voice one character in Metal Gear, who would that be?
Oh wow! Whew, so many.
Because you've got a few Metal Gear voices. You're a voice actor, or an aspiring voice actor, as we haven't talked about yet, which I'm sure it'll come up here soon. But you do a fairly decent Snake impression. David Hayter says so himself. You've done the sexy vampire, and you did a decent Raiden. So I mean, who would you voice?
I think in terms of where my voice range is, Raiden would be the best character for my particular, you know, because, you know, I can, you know, that kind of voice that Quentin does for MGS4 Raiden is kind of in my register in terms of vocals. In terms of who I'd voice, Big Boss. I mean, who wouldn't want to voice Big Boss? I don't think I could pull it off, but I would certainly, you know, I had a gun to my head and said, hey, voice somebody, I'd do Big Boss for sure. Mr. Sexy Vampire, you know.
That was a good one. We enjoyed that.
Yeah, he's fun. He's this... I love playing villains. Like, I do plays and stuff like that, and my voice lends itself to villains because it's deep and, you know, it goes down here and it sounds like a villain or whatever. So I tend to play villains or antagonists. I don't want to say villains. Antagonists and theater stuff that I do, and it's always fun being the bad guy.
According to Paul, the dick.
Yeah, exactly, the dick. Being the dick is fun. I mean, it's kind of bland to play the protagonist, honestly, sometimes. And not in the case of Big Boss, because he's such a complex character, but in a lot of the plays and musicals, it's just the typical, you know, happy-go-lucky guy, and, you know, I'm not really as into that as playing the villain. So Vamp would be cool. I don't think I could do a British accent, but Zero would be cool as well. But as my previous ventures have proven.
Ever wanted to strap on some skates and be Fat Man?
Gain some weight, you know, eat a bunch of burgers.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah. Fat Man, not really. Not my favorite.
I think he's like one of the least liked villains.
He is so forgettable, in my opinion. I mean, he's weird, but I don't know. He's on skates. He's drinking some, what is it? Juice, wine, whatever it is.
Wine, I don't know.
And yeah, I don't really.
It was out of place. It felt out of place.
Yeah, it kind of did. I mean, it's like Kojima does crazy stuff, but Fat Man was a little weird, just not in a
like all the
way.
boss fights in that game were decent, except for that one just kind of was, like you said, it was weird. It didn't make a lot of sense. A mad bomber on skates, who knew?
Right, but Big Boss, Gray Fox is also good. But Raiden would probably be the one that I'd be suited for most.
So suited for Raiden, but prefer Big Boss.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for that question, YouTube user. Next one is from Juan Daniel, and he wants to know, why did you get into theater and when?
So I actually, funny enough, I used to hate theater, acting, and stuff like that when I was a kid, and I eventually, in my years of high school, a friend of mine who was into theater and musical was like, "Hey, you should audition for this musical called Bye Bye Birdie," you know, the high school musical, you know. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm not really into it. And they said, "Come on, just, you know, we can hang out more, whatever." And I said, "Fine, okay, fine, I'll audition."
As Quentin said, there'll be girls.
Yeah, there are girls, so that's always a positive. So I auditioned and I got a small part, and it turns out it was one of the most enjoyable experiences I've ever had. Just the bond that you develop with the people there. Sometimes you get in a cast that is just so hostile. That's never happened to me. That's just what I've heard. But I've always gotten in really good casts with really good people, and there's this bond of, you know, this common goal, and just doing the plays themselves is so fun. Just being somebody else in that moment. And so I said, hey, I got to keep doing this. And so that's when I started to hone my skills, I suppose. You know, get into more acting, and that's when I decided maybe I want to be a voice actor. And the reason I don't want to be a regular actor, I want to be a regular actor, but I don't think I'd get far because I'm Asian. Let's face it, not a lot of Asian leads. I wouldn't be able to play Captain America, ever.
Right.
You know, just, it doesn't work. So I said voice acting, I can do whatever I want, play whoever I want. It's all about this, not about this. Which is why I want to get into voice acting, but, you know, maybe someday I'd like to get into acting, but... And,
you get into one of Christopher Randolph's plays.
Yeah, right. And the theater stuff, that's also part of the reason why I got into YouTube. You know, first of all, the whole British accent thing, that's one thing, but it made me more confident as a person to be there on stage. I used to be really shy, didn't like to get on camera, whatever. That all changed when I started doing theater, interacting with all these people, you know, very talented people. And theater just, you know, definitely was one of the most important things that I ever did, and that I will still continue doing. It really has influenced just who I am as a person and what I do now, stuff like YouTubing. And yeah, so that's why I got into theater. It's fantastic once you try it, and I'll keep doing it.
Awesome. I actually never got into theater itself. I used to do what you do now with like the lighting and like technical aspects. Right. I really enjoyed that. I was never really nimble enough. I played football in high school, so I was kind of like the lugger, you know. And I was never nimble enough to get on the stage, but I really wanted to, man. I really enjoyed that, and I occasionally will go to. There's a place here where I live called the Alhambra, where they do plays, but it's like a dinner theater type thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's really, really, really cool. So. Yeah, I think that's awesome, man. I think the more diverse you can, you know, have your repertoire, it will definitely help you. And you've heard here from our guests that you know, you've interviewed like Christopher Randolph and Paul Eiding, who are both into you know, theatrical stuff. That will actually help you in your career, man. So
especially with my voice, because I don't know if you watch my earlier videos, I have this really annoying fucking voice that I hate. I don't know why I sounded like that. But that's improved over the years. I never really noticed it until I went back and watched a video.
Criticizing
I'm like, who is this
your own
fucking
voice.
guy? Like, somebody punched this guy in the face. Like, why is he talking like that? But that, you know, that's improving, so that's good. So I don't know.
Wow, you never want to miss an episode of the Codec, guys. I tell you what, we hear some crazy, you hear some crazy shit here. And that's the only way that I can put it. Yeah. So Yong, yeah, the master speaker criticizing his own voice. I'm gonna take a couple more YouTube questions, and then I know the chat's buzzing right now. We'll prioritize questions to the chat here. I think we'll do two more YouTube questions, and then we'll take some chat questions, and then we'll wrap up. We've got a ton of good ones, though, man. Cool. Let's see here. The next one that I had picked out is... Oh, there it is. This one comes from Ramirez Rules. He wants to know why Metal Gear? What got you into Metal Gear, and what keeps you prioritized in Metal Gear over other games?
Well, I mean, it all began with Metal Gear Solid 1, as it did for, I'm sure, many people. I was in Venezuela at the time, and I was a kid, and there was this friend. I was at his house, his apartment, and I saw this CD kind of thrown into some bin, and it said Metal Gear Solid. And I'm like, hey, is that a game or something? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, can I borrow? You don't seem to be using. He's like, yeah, I don't know, my PC can't run it. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Oh, so you had Metal Gear on PC?
Yeah, my first Metal Gear experience. Well, honestly, my parents were against buying me video game consoles, so I didn't play a lot of games when I was a kid. Which Metal Gear Solid 2 I played on PC as well. So
really,
yeah, and Metal Gear Solid 3 I didn't play until like many years later, not long before MGS4 came out, actually. So yeah, surprisingly enough. So I popped the disc into my computer, and I started playing it, and instantly I see this fucking cinematic intro, unlike anything I've ever seen at the time. Right. See this polygon fucking moving in the water, with the epic music playing in the background, and he pops in, he's like, this is Solid Snake, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'm already hooked. Like, I don't know what's happening, right. And I kept playing it, and just stealth, I hadn't played many stealth games at the time. Nope. And this concept of hiding from people, like, instantly hooked me because it was just so new. But then as I kept going along and along, just the presentation and the graphics were on a whole other level than anything I had ever played at the time. And by the time I finished the game, I mean, everything was just so epic. The story, the feels, everything was there. I mean, it was just such a well-balanced package. And I'm like, wow, what is this thing? I gotta look into it, And that's when I learned there is, Metal Gear Solid 2 came out after that. Metal Gear Solid 2 might have been out by then, actually. When did Metal Gear Solid 2 came out? In 2007? 6? Oh, actually, no, never mind. It wasn't out by then. But, no. Was it 2000? No, I don't remember when it was. I'm sure it was.
I'll tell you.
Sometime in the 2000s, I forget.
Might have been 2005.
Maybe. Yeah, but, so I played Metal Gear Solid 1, and I'm like, wow, that was awesome. And then I played the VR missions, and I wanted to be that Gray Fox guy, and I got to be that guy in the VR missions.
It's 2001.
2001. Okay, that makes sense. There we go.
Wow.
Then yeah, the game Metal Gear Solid 2 was out by then. So I looked into it. I said, okay, I want to play this. Is there any sequels? And I found Metal Gear Solid 2, and then I popped that. I popped that.
Where do you find a PC version of that game, man? That's crazy. I know they have it on PC. I know that it's for PC, but I've never seen it for PC. The only way I got it was on a download from like Good Man Games, like an old.
I think my friend pirated it and then gave it to me. So I won't say who, because I don't want to,
Woot, that's what I'm saying.
That's man. I think that's what I remember.
Did you play with a controller or with the keyboard?
Keyboard and mouse. It was a nightmare, man.
Yeah. I played it with the keyboard and mouse too. It's the hardest thing to do.
It is a nightmare. I didn't know it was a nightmare at the time because I had never tried playing the game with controls. But once I did, I'm like, what did I do to myself back then? Why would I ever consider playing Metal Gear on PC with fucking buttons? I remember trying to use the sword that Raiden gets at the end of MGS2 with the keyboard and mouse. It was impossible. You just couldn't do it. And I was so hyped for that too. I'm like, if it's a fucking sword, I can be Gray Fox again. And I just couldn't do it. But so yeah, I played Metal Gear Solid 2, and it blew my fucking mind at the end. Holy shit, I was a little kid, man. You don't understand.
Right?
I had not, I didn't understand life to the fullest at that point. I had no idea what was happening. Colonel was going crazy. Raiden was he was full naked, covering his, crotch with his hands. I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I kind of like it, but what is happening? And, I really looked into it. I really wanted to know more, and then I dived into the story. I tried to understand what it all meant, and eventually I was like, wow, this all comes together so well. And so I guess to summarize why Metal Gear, it's the Hideo Kojima touch.
Yeah.
There's something there that Hideo Kojima does. Just the attention to detail, just the characters he creates. Just Snake is such a compelling protagonist. Like,
Oh yeah.
a lot of people are asking me, why don't you play Splinter Cell? I think the protagonist is kind of boring. He's kind of bland. Metal Gear
knocks that question off. There's like 20 people that asked that question.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Splinters. Do you like Splinter Cell?
I
Questions,
like the gameplay, but the story is like, for me, I don't even
convoluted.
care. Yeah, I don't even pay attention to it. Metal Gear makes its story fun. It's like the comic book version of that sort of genre, that cliched genre. They turn it into this sort of superhero kind of thing where, there's some supernatural elements there. There's that fun exchange between villain and protagonist. There's this whole epic feeling to it. There's things that you wouldn't see in the real world. Like Splinter Cell, it's all about, the blacklist has been stolen and it's been uploaded. It's like, I've seen that everywhere. The stuff in Metal Gear, I see nowhere, right? I mean, just Metal Gear itself, the giant fucking mechs, like that, nobody really does that in games, or at least prior to Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. There wasn't a lot of that. And stuff like Psycho Mantis, like who creates villains like Psycho Mantis? Who moves your fucking controller, during gameplay? Just little things like that just
hasn't been done.
Me.
Again, and there's no other games like it out there.
Exactly, and eventually I'm like, man, I realized I fell in love with this series, with all the Kojima touches in the games, and then Metal Gear Solid 3 came out, I loved it. Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, I loved it, and it's just this epic saga that plays really well, that just feels really awesome, and I don't know if that answers the question. I'm kind of rambling, but it's just so many things that I can't really put into words, honestly. It's just that Kojima touch and that feeling of just how fun everything is and how serious it can be too from time to time. That perfect balance of serious and fun, and the gameplay being just so unique every time. A lot of things, honestly, just so many things.
Yeah, I think with Metal Gear, there's a lot more of like grabbing content, like you said, compared to other games. We've all seen the cannon fodder and like enemies that come into games like Splinter Cell and stuff. But everything in Metal Gear seems very unique, and I think that could be a reason as well, especially if you played it as a kid, same as me.
Exactly.
There was no definition of characters, out in that time. We had like Crash Bandicoot,
right.
And stuff like that, and there wasn't a whole lot of depth. And as soon as there was a story to latch onto, I think that was a good thing. So one of our next questions, this one is asked by multiple users, so everybody who asked this question wants to know what your favorite Metal Gear in the franchise is up to now.
Oof. Well, Phantom Pain is certainly a runner-up, but I have to play more of it.
Right.
That's a tough one, man. I'm in between Subsistence and 1. I actually did not enjoy Snake Eater because of the camera.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't finish Snake Eater, and then Subsistence came out, and then I finished it. I was very frustrated by Snake Eater, actually. So
yeah, the camera originally was
over the top, which doesn't work in a game that's a giant freaking forest. So I didn't get it. I'm like, this just isn't doing it for me. I was detected every 5 seconds.
That was one of the huge problems. As I remember when my friend had it on PlayStation 2, and it was like you would be walking around and get spotted from somewhere where you couldn't even see.
Yeah,
I think that was a big issue. And then, like you said, when Subsistence came out and gave you that third-person camera that you could rotate, I thought that was much better.
That's when MGS3 became like, wow, this could be my favorite. But man, between MGS1 and MGS3, I don't
What a
know, man.
battle there too. Your favorites is either Solid Snake or Big Boss.
Exactly, exactly. And I love both, man. Uh, I'd have to go with 3 because of the story. MGS 3's story is perfect, and that ending when Big Boss sheds that tear, every time I get goosebumps all over me, and I want to hug the guy, man. But just it's such a tragic story, that one. I mean, it starts out kind of upbeat, like, Snake, you're a secret agent, go in there, infiltrate this, and starts out very like James Bondy with the Snake Eater theme and everything, and then it just it ends in such a like,
The
holy
boss breaks
shit,
your
right?
arm.
Yeah, the boss.
Over the bridge.
And yeah, the boss, she's my favorite character in the Metal Gear
Is it?
series. Yeah, she is.
There you go. That answers that question as well.
Yeah, I knew that question was going to pop up. The boss is my favorite character in the whole Metal Gear series. She's just so pure and influential and badass. I mean, anytime I see her do CQC, I like fucking jizz everywhere, It's that was inappropriate, but it's awesome. It's just watching her do CQC.
That's the codec for you. We're an inappropriate show.
Her calm demeanor, just the purity of who she is. I love that character. Big Boss kind of eventually becomes a villain, and he's snarky, he's badass, he's cool, but the boss, there's something about her, that demeanor of hers that makes her just the boss, the boss of bosses, in my opinion. But yeah, so what was the previous question?
What your favorite Metal Gear was.
Right, I'd go with 3. The story, in the end, sells it for me. Despite the frustrating experience I've had with Snake Eater, after I played Subsistence and finished it, I was enamored with the story. And the gameplay was cool, too. I wasn't too fond of the menu stuff, personally. Like, going into menus, it took a lot of time to go into a menu and select a camo and then fucking, heal your bullet wound or your burn or whatever. I didn't think there was like much there that compelled me. It was just sifting through menus. But the gameplay, the core gameplay and the story, loved it.
Awesome. All right, so while I ask this next question, this is where I'll start taking chat questions. So if you have a question in the chat, now is your last chance to ask. Please notate it with some kind of question marker, or so, like put like a Q in front of it or something, because the chat's scrolling quite fast today. And I might not catch it if I don't know if it's a question. I can't read everything scrolling through there. So if you have a question in the chat, go ahead and do that. The last question that I'll ask before we hop into that that line is where'd it go? Okay. The last question I had then for you, Yong, before we switch over to these other questions, is this is kind of a weird one, but there's two sides to everything, and Metal Gear is no stranger to that. So, whose cause do you support, Big Bosses or Major Zeros? You'd be surprised. There are quite a few Zero supporters in the Metal Gear community. People think, myself included, to a degree, like characters like Snake, while my favorite character is technically a bad guy if you are on the side of Big Boss, and technically a kind of, I guess, anti-hero if you are on the side of Zero. So what's your stance on that, man? I mean, obviously this is a really kind of in there fan type of question, but I think everybody's curious where you stand on the sides of loyalty to your comrades or loyalty to the mission.
I mean, between Zero and Big Boss, it's like choosing the lesser of two evils. I mean, they're both very just fucked up in their own way. And the boss had a large, just the way the boss was betrayed and the way she went really kind of fucked them up. Both. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of Zero's control idea. I mean, Big Boss is his own version of a lunatic, but just control, man, is something that the freedom that I have now is just something that I enjoy so much that Zero compromising that is something that I just don't even want to think about.
I'm 100% on board with you. I don't like people trying to censor me.
Exactly. Controlling the information, whatever. Like, what the stuff we talked about today, the stuff about whatever, the PythonSelkan stuff. I mean, what, the Patriots are going to control that shit? Fuck that. I want to say whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know? So I'd go with Big Boss just for that sole reason. I'm sure Big Boss would destroy the frickin' world, but if he does, I prefer to do that knowing that I'm free and that I can say whatever the hell I want.
Okay.
That's my
all right. Well, awesome. I'm super excited to hear that, man. That's what I was hoping you would say. So we're gonna bang through some of these community questions real quick that are in the chat. Bo Bois wants to know, Yong, what's your thoughts on Metal Gear Rising?
I really like it. It's not. I don't consider it canon personally. I don't consider it like I don't really consider it a Metal Gear game even. It's just kind of its own thing, and you play as Raiden, and it's this sort of alternate thing where you can finally play as badass MGS4 Raiden for those who wanted to do that in that game but couldn't. They're like, okay, so you want to do that? Here's a little gift for you. Here's a little fan service. That's how I interpret it. And I really like it. I played it all the way through. It's silly as hell. I mean, the story makes no sense. It's not something you want to take seriously. But when you play it, if you understand that it's not meant to be like a core Metal Gear game, then you will have a freaking blast with it. The cutting mechanics are awesome, and it's really badass. The music is pretty cool. A lot of rock and whatever, and I really like it. But I don't take it seriously.
Awesome. Well, I agree with you. Laser Mike, one of our subscribers here on the channel, wants to know, in addition to that question, he wants to know, do you think there will be a Metal Gear Rising 2?
Not anymore. I think there was going to be one until the whole Konami and Kojima thing happened. Like I said before in one of my previous videos, my theory is that the new Metal Gear series is going to reboot everything. Literally, I don't think we're going to see... Like, maybe they'll use some of the same names, but I don't think they're going to follow up on Kojima's story. I think they're going to make their own story because they want to remove themselves from Kojima as much as possible, and Raiden is part of that. And so is, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Kojima, he didn't have a big part in it, but he had a part in it. And they want to remove themselves from Kojima completely, from what I can see. So, no, I don't think there will be a Metal Gear Rising 2. Maybe we'll see Konami's version of that, called something different, whatever that may be. But with what's happening, I mean, if PT and Silent Hills was canceled, I mean, and that was, if that was canceled, I don't think we'll see Metal Gear Rising 2. Not anymore. I think we were going to have one had they not had that fallout, but not anymore.
Did you hear at the PC game show, I believe, that was during E3. You probably didn't see it because you were at E3. But there was a PC game show with Platinum Games who came on there, and somebody asked them about Metal Gear 2, and all they said was they can't talk about it right now. So do you think maybe?
Oh, well, if they put it that way, could be something there. Maybe
something there. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
When you say I can't talk about it, that usually means... Yeah, maybe there's something going on. If they say sorry, no, that's a no. Okay. That's I don't know. I watched the David Hayter and Quentin Flynn interview. David Hayter said, if I was in the game, I would have said, I can't talk about it. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not in the game. That kind of thing. So, with this new info, maybe there is a chance. Who knows? I don't know how.
Yeah, I'd like to see it myself and kind of break down their expression, when they say it. So we'll see. Next question coming from Boney B. He wants to know, how do you feel about the direction the gaming industry is taking with VR and mobile? Do you like the idea of VR? Would you play Phantom Pain in VR?
Oh, hell yeah. Are you kidding me? With the treadmill, I don't know if you know about that treadmill, the omnidirectional treadmill, where you can actually run. Hell, I'd exercise and play games at the same time, be fucking Big Boss. Yeah, I would do it if they know how to implement it. But I mean, mobile. I'm just not a big fan of mobile. I don't hate the games there. It's just the biggest problem is the input. This thing here, the touchscreen thing that doesn't allow you to play. I know there are games like Final Fantasy that are coming out. That were from. The old games, the Final Fantasy IV, now that's on whatever iOS and Android, but those are menu-based kind of thing. You get something like Phantom Pain on mobile, you're gonna have a really hard time playing that game. So I don't like the shift to mobile. I know why it's happening, and it's understandable. More people have, smartphones than consoles because smartphones do everything. They make phone calls, internet, whatever. And that's inevitable, but I wish that wasn't the case, because having that controller in my hands and a giant freaking screen, that's the experience right there. So I don't hate it, but I'd prefer certainly dedicated consoles and dedicated portable consoles with buttons and stuff. And what was the second part to that? There was...
Oh, you answered it already.
Oh, no, there was also a second part to it. You said
mobile
he asked,
and VR.
And VR, right. So VR, I kind of talked about it, but I don't know if they can implement that properly. Like, I remember when Wii promised how well motion controls would work, and it was this gimmick where...
I think everybody remembers that.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
With the accelerometer. And then eventually they added the gyroscope, and that worked a little more like what they actually advertised. But, I see the promise, but I don't think they'll deliver. I've been disappointed far too many times with promises like that. But maybe in 20 years, maybe we'll see this thing develop into something awesome. But I unfortunately haven't tried it out, so I wouldn't really...
Okay.
I wouldn't be the best source for the future of VR, but just first impressions wise, that's what I think. But maybe I'll change my mind if I try it out.
I'm surprised you didn't get to try it out at E3. I'm sure they had a ton of booths.
Yeah, they did.
For
VR. That
VR
was the last thing I was worried about, honestly.
straight to the Phantom Pain.
Yeah,
huh?
Exactly.
I think we got time for just a couple more here. Let's roll with this one. Besides Metal Gear, what are your favorite games?
Zelda is right up there with Metal Gear. I love Zelda games. Ocarina of Time is still one of my favorite games ever. I can honestly play it today, right now, and still have as much fun with it as I did all those years ago. I bought the 3DS one. I have Majora's Mask 3D. I just love Zelda games, and I can't wait for the Wii U one. The Wii U is not doing very well, but I own one, and when that game comes out, I'm gonna be all over that. Just
really don't upload any of the videos to YouTube.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna cover Nintendo games because I'm not hearing very good things about how they handle that. So
yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna play their games for sure.
Of course.
And Zelda Wii U is definitely one of my most anticipated games of next year, whenever it's coming out. So Zelda, Fallout, and Elder Scrolls, absolutely. Just Bethesda Softworks or Bethesda Game Studios games. I love them all. I started with Oblivion. That was the first game I played of theirs, and I spent so many hours on that, and I loved modding the shit out of the game. Same with Skyrim, same with Fallout 3, and now with Fallout 4. I mean, it's heaven for me. Phantom Pain and Fallout 4, 1 month apart. I mean, goodbye life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. There's a lot of games coming out now, and I think it's refreshing because right now the market's really dry. I went to play some games yesterday because I've been taking a break after eFusion week. I've been kind of just trying to play some games for myself, and I played like 4 different games for like 5 minutes apiece before I switched each one. Okay. And I'm like, I'm just done with all of this era of games. I need the Phantom Pain. I need Fallout 4.
Exactly. So yeah, my favorite series would be Metal Gear, Zelda, Fallout, and Elder Scrolls. Those are my top 4. And I like other games, but those are the ones that I really look forward to most in the gaming industry. And it's close between Metal Gear and Zelda. I really don't know. With Phantom Pain, maybe that'll, really propel Metal Gear series and onto #1. But right now, they're, like, tied for me. They're both great.
All right, real quick. A lot of people have been asking, when are you going to do something with the chalkboard? That's,
I can do something now. Fuck.
Yeah, put the codec up there.
The codec? Fuck. Chalkboard time. Let's see.
Look at this, guys. We're getting him to use the the chalkboard.
There. Problem solved. Next question.
Your fans, man, they're great. A lot of them are hanging out here with us today, and the chalkboard's always a thing of discussion. All right, we'll take one or two more questions. Somebody asked, I lost the username here, but somebody wants to know: are you going to be playing Metal Gear Online with your fans?
Yeah,
Are you going to have an option to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I can make like a clan or something, definitely make one and have all of us hang out. That'd be great.
Awesome. Invading. So don't steal his stuff.
Yeah, don't steal my stuff, dudes. Just I want my stuff. Let's all take other people's stuff and make our own Diamond Dogs, Outer Nation, something.
Outer Nation. That's good. That's good. I like it.
Yeah. I'll put some shrapnel in my head and lead that thing. Something.
There's a run-in with that one as well that wants to know: are you getting the game on Xbox One, PS4, or PC?
PS4. I would love to get the PC version, but it's the one. It's coming out like 2 weeks late. Hell no, I'm not gonna wait 2 weeks. Hell,
y'all are killing me.
No, yeah,
I'm gonna have to avoid your channel, and I'm gonna have to avoid Ronin's channel for 2 weeks because I'm not buying a PlayStation 4 just for Metal Gear. I'm just not.
Oh man, I don't know, man. It could be worth it.
I'm not gonna. That's a big investment for one game.
PS4 has a lot of great games too, though. Like
it definitely does. It definitely does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Financial stuff always.
It's really not even that. I think with the sponsors that we have, I'm sure I could get one.
Okay.
But I feel like it would be. I think like for the show that we do, I host it here on the PC. And it seems like I would need like some more equipment to have it streamed. Like I would need like a what do they call it?
Capture card.
Yeah, I need a capture card, and then I'd have to fine tune different settings, and I couldn't swap games on the fly like I do here with PC. Like the pre-shows that I do, like today we played Metal Gear, and I was gonna hop in and play New Vegas, and I wouldn't be able to do stuff like that if I played games through the PS4. Granted, I do like the PS4. I've played it. I've had both of them here in my house to for parties and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just like I like PC gaming a little bit. I feel like it's a little easier to access. But I'm very jealous that you'll be playing 2 full weeks before me. I'm gonna watch,
dude,
every bit of side ops.
You're gonna have to avoid the internet, man. I mean, they're gonna spoil everything in that same day. The ending, everything.
Hopefully, there's enough variation to the game where maybe it's multiple different.
Yeah, you might find out.
I don't know how I'm gonna deal with it, man. It's frustrating. This interview is not for me though. It's for you. So let's hop through here. One more. We'll take. I guess we'll take 2 more, man. Is that okay with you? 2 more questions.
I have a lot of time today, so.
All right. Well, I want to make sure our archive isn't 2 hours long.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely, because you're coming back on the show. This isn't your final show.
Yeah, of course.
The guy Red Pride Nationwide wants to know what do you think about? I guess there's some drama or some issues around Jay Tavare. I don't know how to pronounce
Jay
his last
Tavare,
name.
I think.
Yeah, Jay Tavare. Being he says, this is according to him, he's been exposed as a fraud and is not actually a Navajo.
Really? That's the first I've ever heard of it. When did this break? Today?
I don't know. It just happened right now, and I'm asking because he's put this in the chat like 8 times, and I can't avoid it. So I want to ask if you had heard anything about it.
No.
Yeah, he says that he's been exposed as I believe they're saying his nationality is Iranian and not Navajo. And do you think that Kojima did this on purpose?
No. I think he just needed someone. I mean, Jay Tavare does have Navajo contacts. I mean, that's what he claims. He said, I'm working with my Navajo elders to make sure that the way I speak and my demeanor as I play Code Talker is all nailed down. That's what he tweeted at one point, or maybe it was a Facebook thing. I don't remember, but that's what he said. I mean, most people recognize him as Navajo, so I figured Kojima was like, hey, well, let's get this guy on board. And, even if he isn't, I mean, whatever. Code Talker, he doesn't even look like Jay Tavare, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it really even matters, but
Oh,
I found the article that the guy's talking about. It doesn't look like one of those irreputable sites. It doesn't seem like one of those. I could be wrong. It's like a celebrity entertainment site.
oh,
Um, and yeah, it says according to several women in Native American communities, Jay Tavare is not a Navajo. So weird. I don't know if it matters. I
yeah.
didn't even know that.
I mean, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, is
That's
that
like saying, David Hayter isn't Big Boss because he's not American.
right? He's Canadian. I mean,
Canucks.
so yeah. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's,
Okay.
Aki Otsuka, he's Japanese, so what? Big Boss isn't
Yeah, right.
Japanese. He's voicing Big Boss in Japanese, so. I mean, I don't know. Just I don't have an opinion on it. It's just okay. It
Okay.
is what
Well,
it is.
there you go. All right. Well, our last question then for you, Yong, is what does the future hold for you, man? What are some things that you're working on? What are some projects you can share with us?
Mhm.
Obviously, we talked about Dragonborn, and we know you've got some stuff coming up from Fallout. But what are some things that you can tell us about that you're going to be doing here in the future? Maybe with games or maybe with plays.
Mhm.
Just kind of give us the rundown of what is here in the next,
Sure.
6 to 12 months for Mr. YongYea.
Well, I'm probably gonna audition for like a play or something in the coming, I guess, semester, so to speak. And obviously, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be all over Metal Gear when MGS5 comes out. I'm gonna review it. First of all, that's the #1 priority. And then I'm gonna start breaking down all of the story stuff and releasing that on my channel. And then after that, I mean, honestly, who knows what the future holds? Because I've been doing Metal Gear for so long that honestly, I really haven't thought much about it. I do want to start auditioning for voice acting stuff, like small projects, not even really anything official,
Right.
just to get my name out there and just to get some
Local
experience.
ID.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll probably start doing some voice work stuff that you guys probably won't hear too much about. It's just sort of my own thing that I want to do just to ramp up my experience. But honestly,
Before you continue, you did have we talked about this a little bit before, and
yeah,
I think this could be a good time to address it. Are we still seeing you in Skywind?
yeah. I haven't been able, like, I haven't had much time for it, but I still do have the role, and I'm gonna voice for that and do
Okay.
as much as I can.
Are they anywhere near completion?
No, I don't think so. Honestly, the voice work stuff was supposed to be done last year, holiday last year, and 6 months in, and or almost 7 months in, and we're still, yeah. I don't think they're anywhere near close to completing. It's a huge project, and I understand why they wouldn't be close to completion, but yeah, it's still developing, and
Okay.
there's still a long way to go. So yeah, definitely, I'll do some Skywind stuff probably. Um, and what was I saying? Right,
Yeah, explaining what you were gonna do.
right, voice work stuff. But mostly, I just want to focus on MGS5. That's a big thing. I don't even want to worry about everything else at this point because MGS5, it's like 50 to 100 hours long. I have to really spend my time with it and find all the cassette tapes to uncover all the lore stuff. I mean, it's a huge game, jam-packed with content. So I'm gonna have to really focus on that, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm mainly kind of, that's my future for now.
Okay.
And after that, honestly, I'll think about it. But right now, I have my sights set on MGS5 Phantom Pain.
I think everybody is excited to hear that. I know we'll be looking forward to your trailer analysis that you have coming out and what other videos might pop up here in the meantime. I do want to address the chat real quick. I see there's still a ton of questions in there, guys. A lot of these questions that you're asking have already been answered previously in the interview here. So you guys can check out the archive on Yong's channel. After it's done. So don't worry if it seems like I'm not answering your question or I haven't asked your question. You will definitely have your question answered. We've asked Yong a ton of questions. I believe this is one of our longest interviews so far because we're about to hit the 2 hour mark,
Oh, really?
which is crazy. Yeah. So we've had a great time with you, Yong. Is there anything else you'd like to address with the fans? Maybe anything that I missed or anything like that?
No, I mean, just want to say thank you for being fans. I mean, I never imagined that I would ever get in a position where I'd have fans, where I'd have 130,000 people following me on this journey to cover this thing that I love. I mean, that's a fantastic feeling, and I really love this, I guess, job. Although I don't know if I can even call it a job. It's just sort of I don't know. It's just this awesome hobby. It's not even a hobby. It's just this thing that I love doing, whatever you call it. It's a passion, really.
Career.
And it's good to have people backing me up. So many people. I mean, Jesus, 130,000. That's a lot of freaking people. And
Definitely.
So, yeah, thank you for just all the support you've shown throughout the years. And I'm not going to take that for granted. I'm going to keep making as awesome, as much awesome content as possible. And I always welcome your feedback, your support. So, let's keep it up. And fuck, Phantom Pain is so close yet so far. I'm going to be all over that. And
60 days.
60-something days.
Well, 80 for me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, yeah. But just, stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated on everything. And, fuck, yeah, the future is bright. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know you couldn't have thought you were going to get out of the interview that easy. Okay.
Oh,
every person we bring on the show has to do an intro for the recording.
Okay.
And so you get to do your own intro. So what are you going to do for us? Are you going to do an impression for us? Are you going to do a Metal Gear impression? What are you going to do for us for the intro for your video?
I mean, I don't know. What do the fans want?
Yeah, what do you guys want Yong to do? All right, so let me explain it. Basically, the way it works, if you haven't watched one of the interviews before, is basically you'll hear the codec ring. It'll beep, and then when it comes in, it will be Yong, and he'll say whatever line that we choose here. And I haven't even finished the question, and everybody's saying something about penis sword.
What?
Penis sword. Is this one of your famous quotes that I don't know about?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, fuck, I remember now. Yeah, MGS4 Yong play. You know that scene with Raiden and Vamp when they're in the hangar on top of Rex? And Vamp does this thing where, he has that penis sword, where it's like, the sword is like, if this is his legs, the sword is going kind of straight down like a penis, and he pulls it out like this. It's like he's pulling out like a penis sword. So I call it the penis sword. So.
Okay. There's that. Somebody suggested Mr. Sexy Vampire. Somebody wants you to say YongYea in your snake voice. The overwhelming result right now is penis sword. I don't know how you feel about that.
Fuck, I mean, if that's what the fans want.
Literally like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 people just immediately off the 19 off the bat
Jesus Christ.
Penis. Did you say it funny or something? I haven't seen the Yong play.
I fucked around and I said, oh yes, the penis knife. It'll be like the penis clashing with penis. Yes. Something along those lines. I don't know, because, Vamp's like, yeah, pull out, drop your sword, pull out your knife, and then we'll do a knife fight. That's what he's basically saying. But he pulls out the knife from his dick, and then Raiden's there, and he pulls out his knife, and it's like, it's like they're about to have like a little intimate thing. So I call it a penis sword, penis knife, or something.
I'm so upset that I haven't seen that yet. I am spoiled. Okay, let's see. Close the show with this line, Yong. Yong is what? I don't understand that one, buddy. Sorry, that's ineligible.
So I mean, it's up to you, man.
The fans want penis sword, man. I don't know.
Do I have like a sword-like thing that I can like actually?
I don't know. It must be the actual sword. Okay.
Yeah. Oh wait, I have like this like knife. Looks like Vamp's knife, right? So penis sword, penis knife, whatever. Is that the final verdict?
I guess so, Yong. They're your fans, okay? There's nothing. I was gonna suggest. I was gonna suggest maybe you do your Raiden. You do a good Raiden, but the fans want penis sword. I mean, maybe we do both.
fuck. I don't know. What do you want me to say is Raiden?
Let's see. I like the we've managed to avoid drowning. I think that would be awesome if you did that one, because we had Raiden on the show as well, and maybe I can show Quentin your
Sure.
impression of him.
All right, so penis sword first.
All right, yeah, penis sword first. All right, let me mute myself here.
Yes, penis sword. Let us fight penis with penis. Pull out your penis, and we will clash with penis until one of us is triumphant. Who has the bigger penis? Yes. All right. Penis sword. There we go. I don't know what that was. Shit, that was weird.
Penis sword. It's good voice acting.
Yeah. Anyway, that was some weird shit. And then Raiden. Shit, I gotta get up there. Colonel, we've managed to avoid drowning.
Nice.
Yes? No?
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. That was actually a really good ride. I think your last one you kind of just did like right off the dome, and it was good. But this one was better.
Really?
That was awesome.
Good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I don't know. I usually don't know how I sound when I do voice stuff for some reason. So
yeah, I think that I think a lot of voice actors struggle for that. The fans are happy. Everybody's clapping and everybody's crying.
Let me put my penis knife back into where it belongs. Oh,
Well,
actually, no, it belongs in my penis, of course. There we go. Yes. That's nice. Yes.
Oh man,
All right.
I'm waiting from the email for the sponsors that are like, we've decided to drop your show.
Too much penis discussion, guys. That's not what the show's about.
Which I gotta say, guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Yong, and I gotta thank all of the Hitbox viewers for tuning in. But it's that time, guys. It's the sign off for the show. We don't have Ronan here today, so it's just gonna be me and then Yong signing off. So big shout out and big thank yous to everybody here in the chat that stuck with us. We hit a crazy number of viewers today. I think we were just above 400 something earlier, and we haven't dipped below 3 the entire time.
Awesome.
So that was good, great show. I'm really happy. I'm sorry, guys, if I didn't get your question. I do apologize. There's a lot of you guys here. There's only one of me and only one of Yong. We're definitely gonna have Yong back on, obviously for the Codec as our regularly scheduled programming goes. So don't worry if we missed something or we didn't get a chance to do it. Here we have plenty of time with Yong. He's not going anywhere. Yep. And we've got some more voice actors lined up for you guys. We have the Jim Piddock coming to speak with us, Major Zero, on the 10th. I'm not sure who we have for next week. I may have maybe a game developer coming to talk with us next week, or a voice actor. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm working on it really hard right now. It's either going to be H1Z1 coming to speak with us, which is a zombie survival game, or Heather Haley, if that's how you pronounce her name. But I've got to talk with her and see what her schedule looks like. Either way, we've definitely got Jim Piddock on the 10th. And then as we get closer to the release of Phantom Pain, please keep in mind that we will have Chris Zimmerman to speak with after the game is released, which I'm super excited to hear how it was working. After doing an interview with Quentin Flynn and David Hayter at the same time, I have no idea how that lady got through 3 games with three or four games with those guys. That was a riot. And then I also have been working on, I spoke with Yong about this yesterday. I've been working on getting Quentin Flynn, David Hayter, Paul Eiding, Tasia Valenza, and Christopher Randolph all together for you guys in the same Skype call in the same, I guess, time is the only way I can put it. That will be a crazy monumental interview. I don't think anybody's done it before.
That'll break the internet. I'm telling you right now.
I think there's been one instance where they've been back together, and not that combination, but they did like an improv a couple of years ago. When the internet was still new. So so I think we're gonna work on that for you guys. I would love to have more people in there, but unfortunately the way Skype works is I would have to have all of them get Skype Premium, which I don't think a lot of them would want to do in order to get more people in there, but because we've got 3 co-hosts, so it's got to be those numbers. But we're still playing with that idea. So if you're looking for some crazy stuff, that's going to be coming to you. I think we're going to do it around the holiday season, maybe like December or something like that. So stay tuned for updates on that. Lastly, big thanks to BattleBox.com, our sponsor, Hitbox.com, or .tv, excuse me, Control Freaks, Steel Series, and Frag Nation for putting this this show on the air for us. We appreciate you guys. But this is the ending that we've all been waiting for. Yong, take it away.
All right, folks, thank you for tuning in. I am really happy to be here, just have so many people interacting with us. And with my penis sword here, I'll actually put this away now. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Yong out.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next Codec.